So I'm replying to a Reddit post today, and I would just mention. So I oftentimes get this question, and there's really two or three questions in one here, and I'll just read it. Anyone else feel like the CRM is built for managers, not reps? This person says, I've been in field sales for a while. CRM has never really clicked for me. It always feels like it's built for managers to look at dashboards, not for reps who are actually out visiting customers. And he says, I'm on the road most days, he or she, I'm on the road most days, logging stuff, looking at items, and it always turns into I'll do it later, which never happens. Curious how other reps handle this. Do you actually use the CRM day to day, or do you track things in other ways? So let me just start with this. So one, this is a common issue with CRMs that most people who purchase CRMs are not the salespeople or the marketing people or the customer support or customer success people. They're the executive team and the owners of the company. And it's usually because they don't have enough information and they want to see something. So they could say, sales is broken. We need a better way for our sales team. Marketing is broken. We need a better way for our team to market. Customer support or customer success is broken. We need a better way to track customer success or other things. And so when that is the case, the executive team is buying something for somebody else to use. And anytime somebody's buying a product for somebody else to use and doesn't get their feedback in it, that's a problem. So when I was early on in our consulting, we would take on clients and the executive team would say, yeah, I'm buying this because our sales team is broken. I'd say, okay, great. Give me a sales process. Give me, fields you want to track, the data. And we'd be in these meetings for weeks, building out, gathering the requirements, doing everything we need to. And then the issue would be, we would finish it, hand it to a salesperson. They would say, this is not how we work, because the sales team was not in any of those meetings, or the marketing team, or the customer success team. It's the executive team which would say how it should go, but nobody asked how they are currently working and how to improve that process. So guess what? They spent a bunch of money, we spent a bunch of time, and at the end of it, there was a huge frustration point to say, we spent all this money on this system and it doesn't work. It's not the system, it was the process. And you can work on any CRM, but if you don't get the feedback of the people using it, if you don't understand their requirements, if you don't understand or have them in on the process, you're building a broken system to start. That's one. Now let's address this situation where we have a field salesperson. So historically, CRMs were built for somebody to sit at a computer and enter in data. They weren't built for field sales teams or just field teams in general, because field teams don't sit around and enter in data. They're out. So then, probably 5 or 10 years ago, people were giving, or I should say companies were giving people tablets. Here's a tablet. Here's a laptop. Open up your computer while you're sitting at your car and start typing. And that worked a little bit, but not very well, because most sales people don't want to, again, they don't want to sit at a desk and enter data. Do they want to do it in their cars? 50% of them would, some wouldn't. You have some legacy salespeople that were of a certain age, maybe 40, 50 and over, they don't know how to type. So then they're literally like hunting and pecking at their dashboard sitting in the car, but that didn't work either. And so, but those are typically the most successful reps. And it says, I'll do it later when I get back to my computer. They'd be too tired. They're spending time with family. That didn't work, which is the case with this person as well. So then you run into issues where just data doesn't get into the CRM. So if data doesn't get into the CRM, you really don't even have a CRM. Or you get salespeople that say, I'll use a spreadsheet, I'll use my notepad, I'll do some other things. And that's even worse, because then you got data in multiple places and people aren't using the CRM. That becomes a challenge. So that's one of those things. Now, I'll give you a couple fixes for this, because I was a field sales rep for 20 years, still go out and visit clients. So what I would do was I would actually record voice notes. So one of the more successful reps I met early on, he would have a little digital recorder. He would go in, he would say his notes to himself in client meetings, and at the end of the day, he would transcribe those physically by himself. Now today, you can use a digital note taker and it would transcribe it for you, but you still have to get that data into the CRM. I should say this is a couple years ago. Now today, a lot of people use these digital note takers. I personally do. Sometimes I even do this while I'm in in-person meetings. You open it up, you say who you're meeting with, you have that data in there, and when it finishes up, it automatically goes into the CRM. And this is really a game changer for field salespeople today, because they could walk into the meetings, They can speak their notes. They can interview people. They can ask questions of their customers. Let them know, hey, do you mind if I just record this so that way I don't miss anything? And you get it in their own words. They speak back. It goes into the CRM. That data is shared. And some of these digital note takers will actually go in and update the CRM for you, which is game changing, which means the data is actually getting into the CRM. Notes are being kept. Follow-ups are being tracked, and data in the CRM is actually getting updated, which is huge. Now, 2, 3, 4 years ago, you didn't have that. Today, you do. And in this case, if your CRM doesn't have those features and you're with a field sales team, 3, 4, 5 people or more, it's worth switching. And I would normally not tell somebody that, but it actually is. Or it's worth purchasing the add-ons to make this happen. If you have a sales team of any size, this is what you want to do. And again, these are game changing because if your data is not in your CRM, you really don't have it. If your sales team's not getting it, again, not updating systems, it's a challenge. So if you are curious to know what a tech stack could look like this, reach out to me. I'm happy to recommend a CRM for you, a digital note taker that you can obviously use for web calls and in person, and how these updates can occur. Feel free to reach out. Again, Dorian Earl, our website is www.developmentconsultingpartners.com, and hopefully this helps. Talk to you soon.